restaurant innovations don't come along all that often, so when you do see one, it really, you take notice of it. Really, restaurant service hasn't changed all that much. You get a menu, you sit down at a table, and you order food. What we're doing is not so much the way the food is served, but the food itself. And that is where I don't think a lot of restaurants have been innovative. Yes, you do have different cuisine. We've seen the resurgence of the Japanese sushi tempura or teppanyaki cuisine. We've seen a resurgence in Mexican cuisine and Italian cuisine, but not in the way that the food is prepared. And what we're doing with our restaurant, which is an American Continental restaurant, is something totally revolutionary.
Okay, well, what exactly is the innovation? When can we expect to see this? And we want to find out more about your restaurant.
All right, I will tell you what the innovation is, Phil, by asking you this question. What is the most popular form of food, would you say? Just regular food. When you get up in the middle of the night, or when you look into the icebox for some lunch, what are you looking for?
When you get up in the middle of the night, I don't know, are you looking for a sandwich?
No, but what is the most fun to eat cold, for instance?
Pizza?
All right, I'm gonna answer my own question for you. People love leftovers, and we are implementing in our restaurant, beginning this weekend, what we call table-to-table service. And what that means is, if you order, for instance, our noodles, our pasta with marinara sauce, we negotiate between tables. We'll go to another table where they're eating the pasta with marinara sauce. We'll find out if they're going to finish. We'll find out if they're going to finish it.
Uh-huh.
And if they're not, if they want to doggy bag it, we'll say, you know what, instead, we're going to take it over to table 3. So let's say you order let's say you come into our restaurant, Phil.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And you order the noodles with marinara sauce.
Okay.
I'll go over to a table where a guy's already eating that, and let's say he's done eating and he has some left.
Yeah.
And I'll ask him, do you mind if I take this over to that table?
I see. So I'm going to get that guy's...
You're going to get his food. You want meatloaf? We'll find 3 patrons who aren't done yet and make you a full plate. And
well, what if they're not? What if they want to keep eating?
No. If they want to keep eating, they get to eat it. But we'll ask them the question: are you going to finish that? And if they're not, we take that, we reconstitute it with some other noodles, and you have yourself a great dish of pasta with marinara sauce at 1/3 the price. Ordinarily, pasta and marinara sauce is going to cost you $8, $9, $10. You get it for $3.
Wow. Wow.
See what I mean about leftovers? This is an idea that no other restaurant has even approached.
All right, I'm going to get back with Bob Greene here. Windows on the Boulevard. They're going to be serving leftovers starting this weekend at 1/3 the price. We'll be back. 1-800-449-8600. Restaurant owner Bob Greene. He owns Windows on the Boulevard in Pasadena. And they are starting a revolutionary new plan, a new way of serving food. It's called Table to Table. And it begins this weekend. And they'll be featuring leftovers, which means that if you order their meatloaf, they go to someone else's table, someone who's not going to finish theirs, and you get their leftovers for 1/3 what the ordinary price is. You guys are very, very excited about this. I know you got an award from local restaurateurs up there.
And Phil, I think the other thing that's very important, if your family's on a budget, and certainly with Thanksgiving coming up...
will this table-to-table service be available at Thanksgiving?
Absolutely. So if you bring the family in, and you're ordering turkey and the works for the entire family, we'll go to somebody else's table and ask them, are you going to finish that? And then we put it into we scrape the plates off into a container, and then we heat it. We reheat it.
So you are getting it piping hot.
You're getting it piping hot. We reheat it, and then we scrape it off onto a plate and bring it to your table. It's dynamite. It's just tremendous.
All right, Bob, when's your restaurant open?
Phil, we're open 7 days a week, open from 10 a.m. Bar closes at midnight, and we serve American continental, anything from meatloaf, pasta with marinara, pasta with pesto, a full array, a full entrees of steaks and roast beef and prime rib. We've got delicious garlic potatoes. We have a tremendous dirty rice dish. And I'll tell you what, we have something we want to tell you about, that a lot of people are upset with the fact that when they get the meat, there's teeth marks on it, and we'll trim those off. We will...
You'll trim off the teeth? What do you mean the teeth mark?
Well, a lot of times if you're getting food from another table, in our table-to-table service, there are, like ribs, you'll find that there's teeth marks in it. And we'll trim that off, because I think that puts off a lot of people, and I think that's the only weakness that we have seen in our table-to-table service, that there are bite marks or teeth marks on the ribs. So what we do is we take that back in the kitchen, we trim the teeth marks off, and voila, you have yourself a delicious meal. And again, it's for one-third the price.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question here about all of this, because there are questions that some people have had about hygiene.
Well, Phil, we've offset that.
Well, I know, but the hygiene, whether somebody's had a sore throat, how do you address that?
Well, let me ask you this. If you're willing to eat your own leftovers, which I assume you are, correct?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Are you willing to eat your own leftovers?
Yes, I am.
All right. If you are not afraid of eating your own leftovers, why should anybody else be afraid of eating your leftovers, correct?
Well, no, but suppose I have a cold or something.
I was going to address that, but I want to be clear on one thing. You don't have a problem eating your own leftovers, right?
I do not have that problem, no.
All right. What we do is we reheat everything so that you don't have to worry about germs. You don't have to worry about saliva or anything like that. Everything is reheated. So there is no problem. By cooking the leftovers, we kill the bacteria. So people don't have to worry about a thing, and it is absolutely delicious. And I'll tell you something, Phil, at one-third the price, you can't beat it. It's a tremendous thing. Windows on the Boulevard, inaugurating table-to-table service this weekend.
It is unusual, I'll say that for you, Bob. But if restaurateurs have gathered around you and say that this is an innovation...
They frankly think this is the biggest innovation in food service since the drive-thru.
Then I certainly have to applaud you for that. Our number is 1-800-449-8686. You call it table-to-table, but it's people eating each other's leftovers for one-third the price. Here's Billings on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello.
How you doing, Phil? Calling from Billings, Montana. You guys are bouncing off some ionosphere somewhere, and I'm catching you up here on the highway. But I think this guy is just absolutely stoned by thinking that other people would want to go eat.
Well, I've been in the restaurant business for a long time, and I can tell you what people want is value, and they want economy.
Well, no, they want to eat their own food. They don't want to go around eating off of other people's plates.
No.
I think this is just absolutely ridiculous. They don't laughing and giggling when you're talking about
No. What I was laughing about is my daughter is here, and she's showing us the menu, and there's a couple of guys here in the restaurant who are revamping the bar, and they were fooling around, and I'm trying to be serious.
Well, what you need to do is get them out of there.
I'm sorry?
You need to get, if anybody's going to distract you, get them out of the room.
Well, I did, but she was making some jokes in the background.
Yeah, because we're eating off somebody else's plate, pal.
Well, we're talking about...
nobody in the world is going to want to eat.
Let me tell you, I've been in a restaurant. People love leftovers, okay? And that's something that is an absolute fact. You can't argue against that.
No.
And what we've done is we've taken the idea of enjoying leftovers. Sir, I'm in the restaurant business, so I know what I'm talking about. We're taking the idea of eating leftovers, and we make it palatable. We make it an enjoyable experience. We even sell unfinished beverages. Of course, we can't always identify.
Hey, can I have some of your backwash in your soda? I mean,
well, you know something, America, I don't know if you're familiar with this. You live in Billings, Montana.
Hey, I lived in Orange County. I know what you're talking about.
I don't know if you're familiar with the fact that Americans throw away $3 billion worth of food a year.
I'm pretty sure of that.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that doesn't happen. What do you mean backwash? What we do is we take drinks that are unfinished, we consolidate them.
Are you talking about like in the bar?
Bit left in the soda.
We heat everything and pasteurize it.
You repasteurize the germs and everything that go back through. How
When
do
you pasteurize something,
soda?
when you pasteurize something, you're killing the germs. Hello.
How do you pasteurize a soda?
You heat it up. Hello.
A soda ever have a warm Coke?
Sir, then we cool it back down again. If you're not familiar with the process.
Well, you do carbonation in the process.
Well, listen, don't tell me I'm in the restaurant business.
No, wait a minute. I mean, it's a good question, okay? How do you reheat a guy's beer? Are you telling me you're throwing a bunch of what?
You know, when you go down the bar, you find a little bit of beer left in a glass. We throw it all together for one big beer.
That's disgusting.
What is disgusting about that?
You got a guy backwashing into
drinking beer. I wouldn't want to drink out of their glass.
So you want to go ahead and spend the outrageous prices that people spend on?
Hey, I'll spend the money for clean beer.
$8 for a beer. That's your business.
How much does a beer cost?
About $2 for a beer here in Billings.
What's a beer cost in your restaurant?
Beer at our restaurant's $1.50. You can't beat it.
All right, here is Irvine on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hi.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Hello, Bill?
Yes, it's Phil Hendrie. Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Yes, I was calling to see, this is absurd. There must be some kind of a health reasons against this. I mean, is this guy for real?
Ma'am, tell me you don't like leftovers.
Listen, there's no way I would go around eating other people's leftovers. You're out of your mind.
Let me ask you something. Remember when, as a kid, you would go to the soda fountain and mix all the sodas together? It's the same principle. It was called a suicide, and that's our specialty.
Did the health department approve this?
What's not to approve? It's food.
I bet you they don't know. If they find out, they would come and close down the establishment.
Let me ask you something, okay? Let's suppose you're in my restaurant, and you're enjoying our wonderful meatloaf.
Okay.
And I walk over to your table, I'm your waiter, and I say, "You going to finish that?"
I would be pissed off if you even asked me that.
Well, what if you were done with it? Well, let's say you were done with it, and I walked over and said, "Are you going to finish that?"
What if, I cough all over it, and then I'm going to say, "Okay, I'll finish it. Why don't you give it to the lady across the room?"
Ma'am, if it's been eaten once, that's proof that it's not bad.
You know what? This is absurd. My husband is a chef. If I tell him this, he's going to laugh his brains out.
Well, yeah, he'll laugh because he's not an innovative thinker. The reason why I've got restaurateurs who are giving me an award today is because I am an innovative thinker, and with all due respect, maybe that's why he's a chef. And he's not owning a restaurant yet. I have to think of things that will get the public through the door, that is innovative, that will save them money, and still be quality.
All I want to know is, does the health department know about this?
What do they need to know? I'm serving food. I've got a health license.
Do you have, I was going to ask you, has your restaurant been inspected?
Absolutely.
What grade?
I've got an A.
Are they aware of the fact, now the lady asked this question, are they aware of the fact that you're serving leftovers?
What difference does it make?
Okay, so they don't know then. Fine. That's the answer. They don't know.
Wait a minute. What do they got to know?
That you're serving other people's leftover. Okay, is it family style? Is it
Tell me your husband hasn't reheated something that's come back to the kitchen.
I don't think so. I don't think he's ever done that.
Oh, no. Come on.
We're talking about a 5-star restaurant. I don't think they would do things like that.
Are you telling me
they don't reheat a black Angus steak? Yeah,
they don't reheat a black. That somebody sent back. That someone sent back. What, do they throw it away? I don't think so. At our restaurant, a guy doesn't like his steak. I'll say, "You going to finish that?" He'll say, "No." I'll go over to table 3, and I'll say that I've got a black Angus steak that the guy over there at that table doesn't want. Do you want it?
Do the customers know that you're doing this?
What do you think I'm on the air tonight publicizing it for, ma'am? Have you ever had goulash?
Yes.
That's leftovers. Have you ever had gumbo, shepherd's pie?
I don't think goulash is leftovers.
That's all leftovers.
Just meat that's cooked for a long time.
All right, if this lady comes into your restaurant, what do you say to her?
Ma'am, what would you like to eat? Let's say, what's your favorite dish, ma'am?
Okay, now let's say I come into your restaurant. I didn't hear this on the radio. Are you going to tell me that you're doing this?
Let's pretend, okay? Go ahead and order something. What would you like this evening, ma'am?
Okay, pasta with marinara sauce.
You want some pasta with marinara sauce? Would you like a nice red wine with that?
Sure.
Okay. Do you see that man over there at table 4?
Okay.
Let's say I'm pointing out somebody to you, okay?
Okay.
He doesn't want the rest of excuse me. He doesn't want the rest of his.
And?
Do you want it?
Hell no. I'm going to order my own. I'd rather pay
what the hell what are you doing in my restaurant then?
If I knew, I wouldn't even put my foot in that door.
What's wrong with it? We heat it up.
It doesn't matter. I mean, I don't even eat my friends' leftovers.
Wait a minute. Isn't there a better way of saying to them, do you see that guy over there? Do you want his? I mean, it's just
crazy.
You know,
We kill all the bacteria and crud that remains on the plate.
How do you know you kill all the bacteria? Do you check it out in a microscope?
Well, we put it in the microwave. We have shellfish stew with shrimp, scallops, and clams that, maybe somebody doesn't want.
I know.
Do you like jumbo? Do you like jumbo?
Sure,
I said gumbo, not jumbo. You like that?
Okay.
We can get it from a guy who doesn't want his.
Anyway, let's go around the circle. If this is crazy,
what I'm
I bet
talking
you if the health department knew about it, they would come close you down.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
All right, well, screw it then. You don't like it?
And we will report you. Thank you very much. This is a waste of time.
Come
Bye-bye.
on and have something to eat, okay? See if you can keep it down.
I get the distinct feeling you're screwing around.
I'm not screwing around, Phil. I'm just trying to give people a laugh. You make a big enough dish and it'll work its way around the You make a big enough dish, it'll work its way around the restaurant all night.
Great. Okay, 1-800-449-8686. 1-800-449-8686. Bob Greene is with us. He is with Windows on the Boulevard restaurant in Pasadena. This weekend, they inaugurate table-to-table service where you can order a dish, and then they'll point out somebody in the restaurant who's eating it and say, do you want what's left of his? That's what they call table-to-table. It's basically eating leftovers, and you're paying one-third the price, which is, you have to admit, that's pretty attractive. 1-800-449, although I don't particularly appreciate the way he's articulating it here.
Lose a little bit of weight because we've got a tremendous health-conscious dishes, chicken, and...
I'm going to ask you a question. What if I come in, what if I'm one of the first customers of the day? Will I get the fresh stuff and then everybody else gets my leftovers?
No, if you're one of the first customers of the day, all you're doing is you're getting what the people from the night before ate.
So in other words, you're keeping the last foods of the stuff the people the night before ate?
That's correct. And by the way, the menu is a little limited because if you come in first thing for the dinner rush, for instance, and you order the prime rib, and nobody ate prime rib the night before, then you're going to have to go with a second choice because there's obviously no prime rib to eat.
No, so you don't. In other words, if there's no leftovers.
If there's no leftovers, there's no leftovers. You order prime rib and nobody ate prime rib, but somebody might have left maybe some steak. I can give you that. So I'll ask you. You'll say I'd like the prime rib, and I'll say a guy left some steak. Do you want his? And
a guy left some steak. Do you want his?
Right.
And I think there ought to be a better way of putting it, man, is all I'm saying, okay?
Well, Phil, we want people to know what they're getting. And we really want people to understand it.
All right, but going up to a guy and saying, a guy left some steak from last night, do you want his? It doesn't sound like the best way of putting it. Here's Charlotte on the Phil Hendrie Show. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
I've just been listening to this, and it's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. I eat leftovers.
It's a different idea. It's a different idea, yeah.
They're what's left in the bowl. I don't eat off somebody else's plate. There's no way you can convince me that microwaving kills everything. What if somebody has hepatitis?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I can't believe the health department would actually approve that. I know North Carolina wouldn't.
Well, hold on. What do you mean? What's left in the bowl?
We serve out of bowls when I'm at home. Gravy or biscuits or potatoes that comes out of a bowl onto my plate. What's left in the bowl is what's the leftovers, not what's on my plate. If I don't finish on my plate, it goes in the garbage or it goes to the dogs.
Well, so what are the leftovers?
Huh?
What are the leftovers?
The leftovers are what's cooked more than what you need.
Well, I don't understand what leftovers are. Are you telling me that you throw away perfectly good food? See, that's what we're going against at our restaurant.
Well, that's fine, but I don't think that the health department, at least North Carolina Health Department, will never approve
let me ask something, sir. Okay, it may be, but what I'm saying is, you like gravy and biscuits and what, chicken or what?
All of it.
Okay, well,
but not after somebody's had their spoon in their mouth and put it back into it.
What do you usually eat with the gravy? What do you usually eat? Roast beef or roast?
What do you mean?
What do you usually eat with the biscuits and gravy? You were saying what else? What is the meat?
Oh, chicken.
All right, chicken.
Fried chicken.
All right, so you come into my restaurant, and you say, I'd like the fried chicken with gravy and biscuits, which, by the way, we have an absolutely delicious fried chicken with gravy and biscuits, and I'll say that guy over there didn't eat all of his.
He took a bite out of it.
Right. Do you want it?
No. There's nothing you can do.
Wait a second. All he took was a bite out of it.
What if he has hepatitis?
Do you want it for 1/3 off? I'll give it to you for 1/3 off.
I don't want it for free.
Yeah, and what was your question? What if he has hepatitis?
Yeah, what if he has hepatitis?
I doubt very seriously if he has hepatitis.
Well, then you don't understand the health of
Wait a
restaurant
second.
business.
I doubt it. The guy looks perfectly healthy. He looks
10 years ago, Guilford County had an outbreak of hepatitis that over 400 people got. Don't tell me that it doesn't happen.
Restaurants. They got it.
They did get it. No, they got it from restaurants. The health department keyed it down to 2 restaurants because people not cleaning their hands and the servers. But it could be the same thing.
Servers, not the customers.
But if the customer has it, and if he's ate at one restaurant, picks it up there and goes to another one, and he puts it in his mouth, and then
that's
puts it
the point.
Plate, he's going to pass hepatitis on to
That's
somebody
a very
else.
good point. There's a good point the man's making, okay? And I have a question. What about the silverware?
Phil, we believe in the total immersion into leftovers, so we'll wipe it off with the person's napkin because we want them to have that experience. And
You're doing what? I'm talking about the silverware that the person is eating with.
Yes, the silverware that you would eat your chicken and gravy, for instance, sir, would be the silverware that person used.
Oh.
But we're wiping it off with a napkin. Come on.
Ooh, wiping it off. I mean, if you went and scalded it, I mean, in North Carolina, utensils must be heated to a certain degree before you can even let somebody use them.
You know, you seem a
I'm
little
surprised that California doesn't have the same standards.
You sound a little picky to me.
I'm not picky.
And I'm asking you, do you want to save money?
I'm not going to eat something that somebody else had in their mouth, no.
I'm not
Under no
asking you to eat something what they had in their mouth. I'm asking you to eat what they didn't eat.
If they bit off of it, they've had it in their mouth, sir.
We cut off the
chicken wing. If they take a chicken leg and bite off of it, they have had it in their mouth.
But I told you we cut off the tooth mark parts.
I don't care. It's contaminated. Do you not understand microbiology at all?
Sir, of course I understand that people get sick, and I understand. But you're telling me the guy
You can't wipe off silverware and tell me that it's clean. It's got to be sterilized.
We get most of the scum off.
Most of it.
We get most of it off.
This is a joke.
No,
Phil,
sir, it's not. No, sir, I'll tell you something. Windows on the Boulevard Restaurant. You can call us at 213-251-3189.
California Health Department has given y'all permission to do this? You have their permission.
I don't get why I need permission. We wipe, like I told you, we wipe it off with a napkin.
Because, well, and at least in North Carolina,
and if somebody sneezes, if somebody sneezes, it's your lucky day.